Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namini Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात देशतारिणी जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा रस बिहारी राधा रस बिहारी राधे जय सीताराम लक्ष्मण भक्त हनुमान सीताराम लक्ष्मण भक्त हनुमान जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि 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 बोल Hare Krishna. So welcome you all to this special class on chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Is my voice audible? Is it audible clearly? Okay. So the first question that arises for us is, why should I chant Mahamantra? So is this question arrived in any one of you? Did this question come in anyone's mind? Why should I chant Mahamantra? And next question that can come is, why should I spend my precious time in chanting the Mahamantra? So we are prescribed to chant minimum of 16 rounds. That should be our goal. So it takes almost 2 hours for us during our day in chanting the Mahamantra. So one may think that, this is a big chunk of time, having this 2 hours. You have so many things to do, but why should I chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra? And the next thing that comes is, why should I do something without knowing its effect? So when I'm allotting a minimum of, like, let's say, like even 10 minutes or 30 minutes or 1 hour or 2 hours, so I would always like to think, what is the effect of me chanting the Mahamantra? Okay. So let us start our class with these questions. So the Dharma is standing in four legs. So it stands on austerity, mercy, cleanliness, and truthfulness. So these are the four legs in which the Dharma is standing. Okay, if anybody wants to take some notes, please take it. I will go little slow so that you can take down the notes. So in Satya Yuga, all these Dharma was standing on all these four legs. And the way to obtain perfection in Satya Yuga is meditation on the Supreme Personality of Godhead or meditation on the Super Soul. So one has to do meditation for at least like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 years because people used to live at least for 1 lakh years during the Satya Yuga. So the path of perfection is meditating for many, many years. And slowly as the yuga progressed, as Treta Yuga came, austerity disappeared. So now Dharma is standing on how many legs now? 3 legs. And in Satya Yuga, the Yuga Dharma is performing yajna. I'm sure you all know what is yajna. Yajna is a fire sacrifice where you invoke the fire and using the ghee and other thing, you satisfy the Vishnu through the sacrifices. That's why if you have seen or heard of Ram Leela, you will understand that there were so many yajnas that was happening in the Ram Leela because that happened during the Treta Yuga. So the way to obtain perfection is through yajna. And then at the end of Treta Yuga, cleanliness also disappeared. So now without cleanliness, how can one do yajna? Yajna needs a lot of cleanliness. So the Yuga Dharma for Treta Yuga became deity worship. So go to the temple and worship the deities. So one may have to visit so many temples and go to many pilgrimages and worship the deity to obtain the perfection. And then one more leg also disappeared. What leg do you think is remaining? Mercy and truthfulness. Which one do you think disappeared at the end of Dwapar Yuga?
Truthfulness, I guess.
Huh. Actually, it is not truthfulness, it is mercy. Yeah. So it is hard to believe that Kali Yuga is standing on truthfulness, knowing that everybody lies. So how can we say that there is truthfulness in Kali Yuga? What is truthfulness in Kali Yuga? How can we say that there is truth in Kali Yuga? Actually speaking, there is no truth in Kali Yuga, but there is truth because of the scriptures. Still, in Kali Yuga, we are getting scriptures of Vedas, Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. So all the scriptures are there which gives us truth. So we can say that in Kali Yuga, the Dharma is standing only on truthfulness and that is also shaking. So in this Yuga, is it possible for us to do meditation? What are the conditions that we need for doing meditation? First of all, we need a very peaceful place without any noise or without any this thing. So are we really getting anywhere? Most of us are living in place like Mumbai. So are we even getting any such peaceful atmosphere? No. And the second thing is meditation is a very, very long process. To obtain perfection in meditation, it takes a pretty longer process. So even if we start with the process of meditation, it is difficult for us to obtain the perfection in one lifetime. So it may take many lifetimes for us to obtain the perfection through meditation, through the process of meditation. And let us talk about yajna. So to perform yajna, we need ingredients, right? So what kind of ingredients we need? We need ghee and we need lot of substances. So are we getting anything pure today? Are we getting pure ghee? Are we getting pure ingredients to perform yajna? And we don't even get pure prohits who can do this yajna. Today they give a rate slot for us, right? If you want to perform a marriage ceremony, Marriage samskara, 25,000. If you want to perform this Ganpati Homam, 10,000. If you want to perform some Navagraha Homam, some 25,000. If you want to perform some death ceremony, they all have a rate card. But a Brahmana is not supposed to uh, dictate on the cause. He is supposed to live on charity. His duty is just to perform his duty, and whatever comes by his way, whatever he is getting as a charity, he is supposed to live in that. He cannot demand any particular amount because he is not in a working class thing. His duty is very different, but we do not see people who are clean in their consciousness to perform yajna, or we don't get ingredients which are pure to perform yajna. So, yajna is also not possible. And then the next thing is deity worship. How easy for us today to commute to many places and to go to yatras? Is it so easy for us to go? Very difficult. In a year, if we manage to go to one or two, we should be very thankful for that because the people, life is becoming very busy and everything is so hard for us to focus only on the deity worship. So, Krishna, being very, very compassionate to us, he gave us a simplest process of yajna, which is called Nama Sankirtan. Just yajna through the holy names, through the Nama. So just by chanting the holy names of the God of Krishna, we can get all the benefits that we obtain through meditation, through yajna, or through deity worship. And Krishna says, Kalikale Namarupe Krishna Avatar. In Kali Yuga, Krishna has descended himself in the form of his holy name. So Krishna and his name is non-different. Like when I say water, 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 water is different from the actual water. Just by calling out water, my thirst will not get quenched. I have to actually drink water so that my thirst gets quenched. But Krishna's name is not different from his form. So when you call Krishna, his name, quality, pastimes, everything is there. Nama, Rupa, Guna, everything is there in his name. So the name Krishna has everything in it. So when you call Krishna, the name Krishna and Krishna both are non-different. So that is a special mercy of the Kali Yuga because it's a very downtrodden age. People are very, very degraded, hypocritic, quarreling. So it's very difficult for us to do any other kind of path which leads to perfection other than this Nama Sankirtan. It's like a store. Sometimes when a store is going to a closure, they give a liquidation sale, right? 90% sale. So whatever you want to buy, you can just pay very little and you can get because somehow they want to close the store. So like that in Kali Yuga, because the people's consciousness and everything is so dull, so this way, the path of perfection in Kali Yuga is very, very simple of just chanting the holy names. And in Bhagavatam, it is mentioned, Kaler dosho nide rajan asti eko mahan guna. Kali Yuga is full of dosha. Asti eko mahan guna. But there is one good quality. What is that good quality? Kirtanadasya Krishnasya. Because we can chant the holy names of Krishna. Mukta Sangha Param Praje. Just by chanting the holy names of Krishna, one can get easily liberated. So that is a unique feature of the Kali Yuga. It's a Kaler Doshe Nide Raja Asti Eko Mahan Guna. Eko, only one. When Krishna said Eko means only one. And in Shvetashvara Upanishad, it is said that Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama Eva Kevalam. Kalau Nastaiva, Nastaiva, Nastaiva Gatir Anyata. So there is no other way. Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Nama. Anything that we say 3 times, that means it is becoming more stronger, right? First time you say, second times you say, third time you say. Kalo nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatiranyata. There is no other way, no other way, no other way other than chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this is the only way in which we can attain perfection. Now I will be showing you many other slokas from Shastras which is glorifying the Mahamantra, the slokas that are glorifying the holy names. So, Ata Sri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahyam indriya. Sevonmukho hi jigvaho swayam eva spruhatyata. Therefore, the material senses cannot appreciate Krishna's holy name, form, qualities, and pastime. When a conditioned soul is awakened to Krishna consciousness and renders service by using his tongue to chant the holy names and taste the remnants of the Lord's food, the tongue is purified and one gradually comes to understand who Krishna really is. So, because our senses, through our material senses, we cannot understand Krishna. So, the only way to understand Krishna is by rendering service. And how do we render the service? Simply with our tongue. With the tongue, chant the holy name and also accept the prasadam. So, by doing these things, these two things, one gradually comes to understand who Krishna is. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Vedanta Sutra says, simply by chanting the holy names, his sound vibration, one becomes spiritually realized and liberated. And Brihat Naranya Purana says, O best of Brahmanas, chanting Harinam is the atonement that destroys all the sins. And I consider one who gives up chanting Harinam to be more than an animal, not no more than an animal. So if you're not chanting the Harinam, that means we are an animal. And it is also an atonement to destroy all the sins. We go to many places, right, to destroy for the atonement. Sometimes the astrologer says, go here, go there, so that your sins will be getting atoned. But just by chanting the Harina, all our sins gets atoned. And Brihat Vishnu Purana says, Harinam possesses such incredible powers of purifying any sin that even the most sinful person is unable to commit so many sins that Harinam cannot absorb. How beautiful this is. Even the most sinful, you cannot perform that much sin that cannot counteract the Harinam. So Harinam can counteract all the sins. So it's very, very powerful for counteracting our sins. In whatever hellish planet the condemned sinner are situated, simply by chanting Harinam, they attain bhakti and are promoted to the transcendental abode of the Lord. Even if somebody is situated in a hellish planet, if he is able to chant Harinam, he will be promoted to the transcendental abode. And Skanda Purana also says, O respected sage, it is unnecessary to study at length the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, and Athar Veda. The primary necessity, however, is to perform Sankirtana of the names of Sri Hari, such as Govinda and so on. So just constantly perform this activity. So by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one obtains all the knowledge one can get by learning all the four Vedas, Rig, Sama, Yajur, and Atharva. So just by learning, by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we are becoming most learned scholars. And Narada Purana says, even a person who is mired in the morass of the most heinous acts committed throughout all the names and place can acquire the highest possible destination, shelter the lotus feet of Sri Vishnu by continuously performing Nama Sankirtana. So here I would like to narrate the story of Ajamila. Ajamila was a very sinful Brahmana. Although he was a Brahmana by birth, he was doing all his ritualistic activity. He was doing every prescribed duty. But one day, when he went to pick up the flowers, he saw a Shudra man and a woman who are getting very intimate in their association. Seeing that sight, his senses get contaminated. And he wanted to have the association with that lady, And he sent his mother and wife out of his house, and he had many children with that lady. And to satisfy them and to maintain them, he started doing many sinful activity. He started stealing. He even started killing animals. Sometimes he even killed people to rob. So such was his position that he became a very, very sinful person. However, he kept his last son's name as Narayana. So Ajamila, in his old age, he was almost like 80, 88, and he had a small son, and he was only like 10 years old, the Narayana. And when Ajamila was nearing the death, when he saw Yamatodas, so out of love, he chants the name of his son, Narayana. He did not call Vishnu. He did not call Narayana, but he called Narayana thinking about his son. But just because he called the name Narayana, even though he did not call actual Narayana, still the Vishnu Tudas came. And Yamatudas and Vishnu Tudas are having lot of argument and conversation. And the Yamatudas are saying that this person has committed so much of sin. So he has to be taken to Yamaloka. And then the Vishnu Tudas says, no, our master, he has chanted our master's name. So we have to get him there. And the Yamatuda says, no, there is only one master, and that is Yamaraj. I don't know whether he has another master. Then they go back to Yamaraj and they ask him about what these Vishnutuda says. And then the Yamaraj says that, yes, what they are saying is correct. Even I am the servant of Vishnu. And just by chanting the name of Vishnu, even knowingly or unknowingly, one gets rid of all the sinful reactions. So because he chanted the name Narayana, he is not subjected to any sinful activity. And he also tells his Tuda, henceforth, wherever the holy name is chanted, please dare not even go to that place. You're not supposed to go to the place where the holy name is chanted, and bring only those people who never chanted holy names even once in the lifetime. So we can understand in what precarious situation we are if we have never chanted the holy names. We will be in the hands of Yamaraj. And then Ajamila, he realizes his mistakes and then he takes a second chance. In fact, there is a book called Second Chance written by Srila Prabhupada. It's a very beautiful book which glorifies the importance of this holy name, where the story of Ajamila is very nicely given. If possible, I would like you all to read that book. It's a very, very beautiful book. So, and then he goes to Haridwar, he performs some meditation and everything, and then he goes back to Vaikuntha. So, such is the power of the holy name. And Agastya Samhita says, of all the mantras glorifying Lord Vishnu are said to be the best. Vishnu mantra fulfills desires better than the mantras glorifying Ganesha, Shiva, Durga, or Surya. So this is given in Agastya Samhita. And one name of Sri Vishnu is superior to all the Vedic mantras, and one name of Sri Rama is more potent than 1,000 names of Sri Vishnu, which we know. Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanani. So one name of Rama is equal to the 1,000 names of Sri Vishnu, and one name of Krishna is equal to 3 names of Rama. So that means one name of Krishna is equal to 3,000 names of Vishnu Sahasranam. And one Hare Krishna Mahamantra means 16 names of Rama, because there Krishna appears 4 times and Rama appears 4 times, right? So which becomes 16. So that means we are chanting 16,000 times the Vishnu's name just by chanting one Hare Krishna Mahamantra. According to the Vishnu Dharma Purana, O mighty monarch, those who utter Krishna and other munificent names of the Supreme Lord destroys the millions of reprehensible sin they may have committed. So millions of sins are getting eradicated, not only this lifetime. Whatever sins we performed in many, many lifetimes, whichever is there in the form of Kutam, Pijam, everything gets destroyed. By uttering the single name of Krishna just once, one attains the same benefit as gained by reciting Lord Vishnu's 1,000 names 3 times. This is what we said. before. It is the nature of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra that anyone who chants it immediately develops this loving ecstasy for Krishna. Above all, what do we get? We develop the love for the Godhead. That's the most important thing is develop the love for the Godhead. And the glories of Gopala Mantra says that the mantra of Lord Krishna, who is the original supreme personality of Godhead, the seed of all incarnation, is the most powerful. So, Mahamantra is the most powerful because we saw that Krishna is the source of all incarnation. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Of all the mantras, the Vishnu mantras are said to be the best. Of these, the Krishna mantras, which are the abode of happiness and liberation, are the best of all. So, Vishnu mantras is the best, but Krishna mantra is even better than the Vishnu mantra. So these are all the slokas which are glorifying chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So are you all now convinced about chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Or any questions or any doubt? Okay. So now we know these are the slokas which are glorifying the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So next we will see what are the benefits of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Is this slide visible? Why chant Hare Krishna? Okay. So here is a page full of reason, but each reason is fully upheld by evidence from Vedic writings like Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, and Purana. So these are all just not our own mental speculation. They are all from Gita, Upanishads, and Puranas. So chanting the Hare Krishna awakens the love of God. Chanting Hare Krishna brings liberation as a side effect along the way. So, what is the main purpose of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Develop the love for God. Liberation is also the side effect, it's not the main effect. When you chant Hare Krishna, you automatically develop knowledge and detachment. So these two things, so detachment, which is very, very, very difficult, even for the karma yogis, jnana yogis, and ashtanga yogis, they can easily become detached by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Vishwamitra, he performed penance for a very, very long time. I think most of you must have heard this pastime. And his penance was disturbed through Menaka. Menaka came, and just by hearing the anklet sound, Vishwamitra got disturbed and he fell down from his yogic thing. He got united with Menaka and he had a daughter called Shakuntala. Later on, he realized his mistake and he left them and he went back to his yogic state. But still, he had a fall down. But there is a Namacharya in this, Haridas Thakura, who was there almost in the 15th century. He is called Namacharya and he was chanting 192 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Can you imagine? We are struggling to chant 16 rounds of Mahamantra and he was chanting 192 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, which roughly 22 hours in a day he spent in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, only the 2 hours he used for taking some prasadam and resting. And he was also allured by Maya Devi and he was also allured by prostitute, but he never got allured. In fact, that prostitute who came to allure Haridas Thakur, at the end of the fifth day, she became his disciple and she also started chanting 192 rounds. So that is the power of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is above all the yogic powers. Chanting the Hare Krishna gets you out of the endless cycle of birth and death. We know we are in the endless cycle of birth and death. We have undergone so many lifetimes. We have been undergoing this process of birth and death, not only in the human species, but we have lived in all the 84 lakh species of life in different universes, not just in one universe, in different universes. So it is the most effective means of self-realization in the present age of quarrel. Nothing else work nearly as well. That's what Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam. Kalau Nastaiva, 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 Gatir Anyata. So this is the only way. Chanting Hare Krishna cleanses the heart of illusions and misunderstanding. So we will know what is the real purpose of life and what is the real goal of life and come out of all the illusions. By chanting the Hare Krishna, you become free from anxieties. So, this is one thing which is bothering most of us. We get very anxious by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In fact, there was a study conducted by the neurologist in Detroit on this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, they had two sample of people. So, some of them were just asked to rest, not doing anything, just be on a rest or meditate or do whatever you want, just calm down. But at the end of the study, their brain waves were mapped, and it was seen that their intensity of the thoughts increased furthermore. By putting them idle, their brain mapping showed that their thoughts were further invoked. And there was another sample of people who were made to chant 4 rounds of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, roughly 30 minutes, and their brain waves were mapped. And it is found that those people who chanted the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the brain waves were very, very normal and it was calming down. So this shows that the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra can give us liberation from anxieties. So, meditation and other things will give us some liberty from anxiety, but they do not give us the love for God. They will just give us some liberation from our mental anxiety. But Hare Krishna Mahamantra not only give us liberation from the mental anxieties, but it will also give us liberation. And above liberation, it gives us the love for Godhead. So, chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra brings you to self realization and show you how to act as a self realized soul. You become a self realized soul, means you're not the body, you are the soul. And you are the Jivera Swarupa Hoy, Krishnera Nityadas. We are all the eternal servants of the Lord. So, any other identity we give for ourselves is not our real identity. So, chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra will bring us to the realization that we are not the body, we are the soul. It keeps you ever mindful of Krishna, the reservoir of pleasure. So you will be always thinking about Krishna, who is the reservoir of pleasure. There is no hard and fast rules for chanting. You can chant anywhere, anytime, under any circumstances. And this point is very, very important for us. Like all the other process, like meditations or any types of yoga, you need a proper place, a proper time, and a proper situation to do. Even if you're doing the normal yoga, you cannot perform the yoga if you have eaten just now, right? There are certain rules and regulations that we have to do, and you need some space, you need something. But Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, there is absolutely no rules and regulation. Anywhere we can chant and anytime under any circumstances. Even while bathing, you can chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. There's no harm in it. All the time, in the sleeping, in the bed, anywhere we can chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That's what Krishna says. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said in Shishtashtakam, Nam Namakari Bahuta Nija Sarva Sakti Tatrarpita Niyamita Ena Kalaha. He said, I have so many names, thousands and millions of names, and there is no Tatra Niyamati, there is no Niyama, there is no rules and regulation. Durdaivam Itrisham Ihajani Nanuraga. In spite of that, I am so low that I don't, my mouth is not chanting the holy names of the God. Durdesham, it's my misfortune that I am not able to chant the names. You can chant any names, you can chant anywhere, there is no rules and regulations. What more you need? In spite of that, we don't have the taste for chanting. That is our misfortune. So Krishna himself is fully present in the transcendental sound of his name. And the more you chant, the more you realize it. As I said, the name of Krishna and Krishna is non-different. The more we chant attentively and without offenses, we will be soon talking about the offenses in chanting. When we do offenseless chanting, we can see Krishna face to face. All other Vedic mantras are included in chanting of Hare Krishna. So just by chanting this mantra, you get the benefit of all the others. So you should not worry, okay, now I'm chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but every day I was chanting this Hanuman Chalisa, or I was chanting this, I was chanting that. Now what happens that I have taken into Hare Krishna chanting and I'm not able to chant the other mantras? You don't have to worry, because when you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, all the mantras are present in that. So that is why it is called Mahamantra. That is why it is called Mahamantra. So everything is present by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And chanting the Hare Krishna purifies not only you, but every living entity around you. This is so beautiful. You are purifying your entire atmosphere, your home, your surroundings, and everything gets purified. That's what Prabhupada said once. Even if you don't have anybody who will listen to your preaching, go to the garden or go to there and, and chant Mahamantra loudly. The trees and the plants will hear and they get liberated. So by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, if the leaves and the trees or and the plants are hearing, even they are getting the spiritual benefit. So whomsoever hears the chanting gets spiritual benefit. A person who chants Hare Krishna develops all the good qualities. Yasyasti bhuktir bhagavat akinchana sarvair gunai samasitam sira. So Bhagavatam says one who becomes a devotee of the Krishna, all the good qualities are automatically present in that person. So we don't have to go to a seminar to attend how will I develop kindness, or how will I develop compassion, how will I develop this quality, that quality. No, just by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you can develop all the good qualities manifest itself. And Bhagavata further says, Kuto Mahaharo Abhakta Kuto Mahan Guna. If somebody is not a devotee of Krishna, Kuto Mahan Guna, what good qualities he has? Because Manorateya, because he is acting on a mental platform. He is not acting on a spiritual platform. So one can only obtain the good qualities by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, by which one becomes a devotee of the Lord. Chanting the Hare Krishna purifies not only you, but every living entity around you. A person who chants Hare Krishna develops all good qualities. You can chant Hare Krishna softly for personal meditation. So generally when we do japa, we chant softly. We don't have to be very loud, because if we chant very loud, our energy can get exhausted. We may not be able to chant. When we are chanting, you can chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Like that, you can chant in the soft voice. But when we are doing in Sankirtan, like how in the beginning of the class we sing, we can chant loudly. So both ways work. You can chant loudly or you can chant softly, whatever works for us. So Srila Prabhupada chanted Hare Krishna, so did the great souls in the past. So why not you? It's free. Chanting Hare Krishna never cost you any money. You don't need to pay anything to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It's free. In fact, Prabhupada started his movement just by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He was sitting in the Tompkinson's Park and he was chanting Mahamantra for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. And some of them, they got attracted and they joined him. And through that's the way that the entire Hare Krishna movement spread in US. So this entire movement started on the power of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So chanting Hare Krishna brings the highest state of ecstasy. So there are no previous qualification needed for chanting Hare Krishna. Anybody can chant, young or old, whether you're any religion, Christian, Muslim, Islam, Jain, Sikhism, whatever it is, anyone can chant from any place, any religion, or any country of the world, which is practically seen now. We have ISKCON almost in all parts of the world. Even we have ISKCON in Pakistan also. So even if you don't understand the language of the mantra, it works anyway. Like we are taking the medicine. Do we really know how the medicine acts on our body? We do not know what is the pharmacological effect of the medicine. How does the drug act? Because if you're knowing a bee pharmacist, they study so much A doctor studies so much about how the medicine acts on the anatomy of the body, everything. But we do not know. We just take the medicine. And by just taking the medicine, are we not cured anyway? So this Mahamantra works anyway, even if we do not understand what this mantra means. But because it is like a medicine which has the power, it works like a fire. It acts anyway, right? Not necessarily that if you only know that the fire burns, it works. Fire shows it dharma. Like that, this Hare Krishna Mahamantra can work anyway. And chanting Hare Krishna brings relief from all the miseries. Most of us are suffering from many miseries of the life, but we are going to different places. We go to some psychiatrist, or we go to psychologist, or we go to some movie, or we go to the vacation. We are trying so many different ways to mitigate the miseries, but the miseries again comes back after a short span. But by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, all these miseries can go from the roots. Even there are devotees who were suffering from cancer. At that stage also, they were having ecstatic feeling of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I will post a video. There was a Swamiji. His name was Kadam Kanan Maharaj. Recently, 1 year back, he left his body in Vrindavan, and he was suffering from terminal cancer. And last 6 months, he retired to Vrindavan because he wanted to leave his body. He knows that anyway he is going to leave his body. This he didn't torture his body with more medicines and everything, and he was absolutely fearless. He didn't have any fear at all, knowing that he is going to leave his body anytime soon. So, such is the power of the Mahamantra. Even there was another Maharaj whose name was Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj. Even though he was suffering from cancer, he has his legs amputated and everything. Still, he said that, I am in the most ecstatic state of my life. So, this shows that by chanting the Mahamantra, we become transcendental to our own body. We get detached from our bodies. Therefore, even the death becomes painless. Why is the death painful? Because the soul does not want to leave the body, because we are so much attached to our body that the soul does not want to leave the body. But by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one gradually develops detachment from the body. We come to the platform that we are the spirit soul and we are the part and parcel of Krishna. So the journey for us to leave this body becomes very easy. Painlessly, one leaves the body. Chanting the Hare Krishna is easy. When the best way is also the easiest, why make the life hard for yourself? What is the difficulty? That's what Prabhupada said. What is the difficulty in chanting? You just have to chant, you have to dance, you have to chant, you dance and eat some prashadam. That's all. What is the difficulty? Because today the most simplest process is becoming difficult for us because everything has become so complex, but something is so easy that we do not believe in that. Chanting Hare Krishna invokes spiritual peace for you and for those around you. When you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna himself becomes pleased. And when you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna dances on your tongue. So the pure chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, your tongue becomes a Rasastali, where Radha and Krishna performs their Rasalila in your tongue when your chanting becomes pure. So, by chanting the Hare Krishna, you can return to the Krishna's world, the eternal abode of full of happiness and knowledge. Sachidananda Vigraha. So, you can obtain the same quality what Krishna is having in fullness by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, remember in the previous classes we saw the 7 layers of the material world covered by earth, water, fire, ether, then mind, intelligence, and false ego. And each layer was 10 times thicker than the other layer. It is very difficult for us to penetrate and come out of the covering. But chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can easily come out of that thick covering of the material world. Chanting Hare Krishna frees you from the reaction of all the past karma. So one can go for some atonement, but that atonement will only take away the problems from us temporarily. But Hare Krishna Mahamantra can take away all the karma, which is in the bijam state, which is in the form of seed. which is in the form of kutam, which is in the form of a bud, and prarabdha, aprarabdha, all types of karma is being vanished by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Chanting the Krishna's name even once, purely and sincerely, can free you from the reactions of more karma than you possibly incur. So here there is a word. Even once, if you chant, you will be free. So we may ask then, why should I chant 16 rounds? Why should I chant so many times when just chanting once can liberate? But there is a next word called purely and sincerely. So we do not know how much pure and sincere we do. So we chant as many times as possible so that at least one mantra that we chant becomes pure and sincere. So that one mantra out of the many mantras that we chanted will take us back home, back to Godhead. So we give a lot of things because I will again talk about three stages of chanting is there. After completing this, I will talk about that. Okay, so chanting the Hare Krishna counteracts the sinful atmosphere of Kali Yuga, the present age of hypocrisy and quarrel. That's what we said. Kale dosho nide rajan asti eko mahan guna. Kirtanadasya Krishnasya mukta sangha praje. This Hare Krishna Maha Mantra counteracts all the sinful atmosphere. So it so happened that once in Hyderabad, there was a drought. For 2 years, there was no rains. And Prabhupada, he performed kirtan there, Sankirtan Yajna. And while they were performing the kirtan, there was a heavy downpour. So how this Mahamantra, the Yajna of Nama Sankirtan, it still works in the current age also. By chanting the Hare Krishna, you can relish at every step the full nectar that's the real thirst of the soul. The soul is part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna says, Aham Bija Pradapita, who is our eternal father is Krishna. So we have forgotten because we have accepted the body and we think body to be the self. But our soul, which is very pure, which is part and parcel of Krishna, is hankering for Krishna, not for anything else. So the more you chant Hare Krishna, the better it gets. So chanting, chanting, and chanting. So the only way to get better is chant more and more. So if you are not able to chant with more concentration or more attention or anything, we don't have to worry, but keep on chanting. By practice, the chanting gets better. So if you look through all the Vedic scriptures, you will find nothing higher than chanting the Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So these are the benefits given by one of the Maharaj, J. Advaita Swami Maharaj, who has taken all these benefits from the scriptures. So apart from that, there are some material benefits also as a byproducts one can get by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. One becomes more focused and one can conquer all the bad habits and develop the good habits. And one becomes immune to the bad association. So when you are chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, you will know with whom you associate and with whom not to associate. So automatically you will keep away from the bad association. And it weakens the controlling tendency. We all have the ahankar, right? I am the controller. At a subtle level, even at the home, we try to control our home. We try to control something or the other. So that controlling tendency goes down and it increases our immunity. Even the diseases becomes less. When you're chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we develop immunity and we develop good relationships. We don't fight with anyone so easily. We develop tolerance. And it is also found through the studies that Hare Krishna Maha Mantra also stops some genetic disorders. So, and people eat non-veg. And what do they say? They get vitamin B12. They say, no, vegetarians don't get vitamin B12. It so happened that once my son had some kind of a rainic and the doctor, the orthopedician, he saw the kanti in him and he said that, okay, anyway, I will not be giving him non-veg. And he said that the vegetarian food does not supply the B12. So that's why you develop so many other complications. So B12, they say it's mainly the source of B12 is through the non-vegetarian food, through the meat and other thing. But By chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we get plenty of B12. So don't go for B12 through the meat, go for B12 through the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And the problems become smaller. Whatever problems you think big, they become smaller because our consciousness is uplifted. Like when we are going in a flight, we see all the buildings. If you are going on a flight on top of the New York, which has so many skyscrapers, how do they look like? They look very small, like matchboxes, right? Like a Legos, they look. But when you are in the street of New York, how does those buildings look? They look very enormous and gigantic, right? So similarly, when our consciousness is upgraded, the problems become small. When our consciousness is in low level, even the small problems looks bigger. So because you go on a higher consciousness and slows down the aging process. So no need to go for Botox or skin creams and other thing. Chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. It's easy, it's free, no cost, and you will be looking more young for longer time. And it also regulates our eating and the sleeping habit. Yes, yasi, this one, yuktahara viharasya yukta chetasya bodhana. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter that one has to regulate the sleeping, eating, and even the entertainment. By doing that, one can achieve the yogic process. One can mitigate the diseases by following the proper regulated eating and sleeping habits. So by chanting Mahamantra, you will have a regulated eating habit. Okay. So once you think that I will eat only prasadam, that itself will regulate your eating habit, right? Because if you eat anything and everything, there are so many things available in the market. So we will buy this, we will buy that, and we will eat. But if you can only eat prasadam, that means you have to cook to eat. We will not cook so much, to eat. So by doing that, our eating habits also becomes regulated. Sleeping also, because once you develop a habit that I have to wake up early, I have to do my chanting in the early morning hours in Brahma Muhurta, then we will wake up very early. So if we want to wake up early, then we know that we have to sleep soon. So in such a way that we can regulate our eating and the sleeping habits, and it also improves our values. So you will be developing qualities like kindness, forgiveness, and compassionate, polite, whatever the empathy, whatever the good qualities, everything will get manifested in that person. And above all, as I said, the important thing is golokera premadana harinama sankirtana. Narottama Das Thakur said that Golokera Premadana. Harinam Sankirtan is giving us the love for the God. Golokera Premadana, Harinama Sankirtana. So, even in other yugas, whether it was in Satya Yuga or Treta Yuga and Dwapar Yuga, people, devotees did not know about Krishna. They only knew about Vishnu or Narayana. But because of Krishna came in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is came as Bhakta Avatar, he freely distributed the love for Krishna by giving us the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So he gave this treasure of chanting the holy names to us very freely. He is distributing to us so easily. So that just that we need to just pick it up. It is available to all of us. Mercy is flowing through the Sankirtan warriors. There are people who are chanting the Harinam Sankirtan in the street. People are distributing books. Everything is happening. All we need to do is take up this process of Krishna consciousness, which starts with chanting the holy names of Krishna. So I think I may need one more class to do about the glories of chanting because there is so much to do. So now I will be only talking about the three stages of chanting. We saw that chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra can take out all the karmas and everything. So that is by Shuddhanam. But one does not come to the Shuddhanam very easily. So there are three phases in chanting. The first phase is called Nama Aparad. What is meant by Nam Aparad means chanting, we chant, but we chant with the offenses. So I will just put you the 10 offenses of chanting. Is this visible now? 10 offenses of chanting. Okay. See, this is the offensive chanting, the very first stage of chanting. So, the first offense is to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy names of the Lord. So, we should keep ourselves from criticizing the devotees who are propagating the holy names of the Lord. So, don't criticize any devotees. And the second offense is to consider the names of the demigods like Lord Shiva or Brahma to be equal or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. So, as we saw that Krishna is the source of everybody, whether it is a demigod or whether it is a living entity, anybody, Krishna is the source. So, we should not think anybody to be equal or independent of Krishna. So, everybody is a part and parcel of Krishna. So, that and the third offense is to disobey the order of the spiritual master. So, whatever is the instruction given by the spiritual master, one has to abide by it. And then the fourth offense is to blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance of Vedic version. So we should not try to find some fault in the Vedic scriptures. You know, how can this be true? Or this must be just a mythology, or this may not be true. Like that, we should not talk anything ill about the Vedic scriptures. We should have a complete faith in the Vedic scriptures. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Asraddhadhana Purusha Dharmasyasya Parantapa. So one who is faithless, he doesn't have anything even in this world, or he does not achieve anything good in this life or in the next life. So one should have the faith in the Vedic scriptures. To consider the glories of chanting of Hare Krishna to be just an imagination. Like today, there are so many new methods which are adopted to counteract the stress and anxiety. So many different types of yoga coming up, so many different types of new methodology coming. So we should not think that this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is just an imagination, like we are just contemplating that this may be good like that. To give some interpretation to the holy names of the Lord. We should not give any interpretation, or whatever interpretation is given, that is given in the scriptures itself. So we should not make our own interpretation. That's why Srila Prabhupada, in all his books, in the commentary of his Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhakti Rasamrita Srintu, and many other books, Prabhupada has not gone a single word which is not there from the scriptures. So whatever the commentary has written is completely based from his previous gurus and the scriptures. So one should not give interpretation. And to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. This is very important. We just saw that we cannot perform so much sins to counteract the holy name. Means the sins, holy name can counteract much more sin. It's difficult to commit so much of sin to counteract. So that doesn't mean that on the strength of the holy name, I will commit sin today. I will not follow the regulative principles. And then I will chant again, and my sinful reaction will be gone. Like an elephant. What happens? An elephant takes bath in a nice river and comes back and he throws the mud on it. So, what is the use of bathing? Is there any use? It went, cleansed itself, coming back, and again it became dirty. So we shouldn't do like that. We should not commit any sinful reactions. Okay, in the past lives, we have committed some sinful reactions out of ignorance. So after taking up this process of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, whatever sinful activities we performed in the past, that's fine. Nothing can be done. And those things will be eradicated anyway because we have taken up the process of chanting. But don't commit new sinful activity to counteract the holy name. Like there are some in Christianism, every Sunday they go for confession. Whatever the sinful activities they did, they go and they confess their sinful activity to the Father. And then after 1 or 2 days, they again commit some more sinful activities. And again, the following Sunday, they will go and confess. So, what is the use of this confession? When your sinful propensity is not gone, so in case if he dies on Sunday, maybe he may go to the kingdom of the Lord. But what in case he dies on Tuesday? He didn't have time again to go back to the father, no, to come out of his sinful activities to confess. No. So one should not commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. So we should be very careful. And four major sinful activities, the four regulative principles that we follow. Anybody remembers the four regulative principles? Anybody wants to say the four regulative principles? Yes, Shweta Mataji.
No intoxication,
Yeah, no intoxication. Yes.
no illicit sex,
Yeah.
no meat eating,
Yeah.
and chant
No
No gambling.
and
No
chant.
gambling.
gambling. Yeah,
No
that's
gambling,
all.
no gambling. Yes.
So these are the four regulative principles that one should strictly follow. These four things are the sinful activities which are there in the tamoguna. So one should avoid these sinful activities. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities as karma kanda. So there are so many process that we do karma kanda process. We do something because we get some result out of it. Like I do Ganpati home up so that all the obstacles that I face currently in my job or in my home or whatever at my home, those things will be eradicated. So these are the karma kanda rituals. We are doing some rituals so that we are expecting some result out of it. That is called the karma kanda process. But Hare Krishna Mahamantra is above the karma kanda level. We are not performing as a ritualistic activity, as a fruitive activity, but we are doing this to get the love of the Godhead. Why do we chant? We chant to please Krishna. We chant to please. That is our major thing. I will also give the meaning of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra after finishing this. So we should not think it to be a ritualistic activity. Yes, as we said, the main effect of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is developing the love of the God. Even liberation and whatever the other benefits we saw are only the side effects. One does not take medicine for the side effects, right? Why do we take medicine? We take medicine for the main effect or side effect?
Main effect.
Main
Main
effect,
effect.
right?
May
So we should not take medicine for the side. So the main effect is to develop the love for God, and the side effects automatically happens. But today we are more this thing about the side effects than the main thing. We are more inclined because those things are more captivating us. So, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Yes, we should try to distribute books. We should try to talk about the holy names to everyone. But there is some limitations. You can try once or you can try twice. If that person is blaspheming the Lord and if he is not ready to take up the holy names, so if he is insulting the God or if insulting Krishna, it's better don't instruct such person. If a person is very apprehensive, we should not preach that person. We should not instruct a faithless person. Because what happens? He will do more and more insult about the God. So why do we hear that from him or her? So to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names and to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions of the matter. So we know what is the actual purpose of the life is to develop the love for Godhead, to come out of the cycle of repeated birth and death. Knowing all these things also, we are trying to maintain the material attachment. We are having a lot of material desires. We are chanting. At the same time, we are inclined to enjoy this material world. Then that also becomes an offensive chanting and also offensive to be inattentive while chanting. Sometimes we are chanting, but our mind is in all the places other than thinking about Krishna. Although the subject is Krishna, but the mind is thinking about everything other than Krishna. So we should try to avoid. So the best way to develop the attentive chanting is while you chant, you hear. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Prabhupada said the two things should be in process. One is our ears, another is our tongue. Whatever we chant, you hear. And whatever you hear, you chant. So only this much gap is there between chanting and hearing. So don't let it anywhere. So focus on this sound vibration. Don't try to see through the Krishna. Don't try to imagine some pastimes or anything. Later on, if some pastime comes to you while you chanting, it's okay. But we should not forcefully try to, think about some pastimes of Krishna or not. Just focus on the sound and hear. Whatever you hear, you chant. Whatever you chant, you hear. And another thing which personally, for me, to have an attentive chanting, sometimes mind is little restless. So what I do is I read at least 1 or 2 pages from Srila Prabhupada's book. So if our mind is not ready for chanting, try to read some Prabhupada's book, at least 2 or 3 pages, and then go to the chanting. And another thing we can do is write the names of the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Have a plug card from the temple that you get some stickers or anything, or write in the paper and read it. When you read, you're more focused on reading. So here you will be reading, chanting, and hearing. So these are the ways in which we are trying to improve our attentivity in chanting by focusing on the sound vibration. Okay. So this first stage of chanting is called Nama Aparada. We chant, but we chant with offenses. So we may be falling in one of these 10 offenses while chanting. So if we fall in one of these 10 offenses of chanting, then we come in the stage called Nama Aparada. But there is some happiness in chanting with Nama Aparad also. What is that happiness? Suppose you are having a goal of chanting 4 rounds. If you complete the 4 rounds, you are happy that you chanted your rounds. Suppose you are having a goal of 16 rounds. You chanted your rounds. You are happy that you completed your 16 rounds. So mostly the happiness comes because of our desired goal of chanting is fulfilled. The next stage is called Nama Bhasha. So this is a stage where the offenses are all almost nullified. We do not chant with offense. So most of the offenses are nullified. And this kind of chanting leads us to liberation. It's just like a dawn. Before the sunrise, we see some light of the sunlight. The sun is not raised, but we see some sunlight, some light in the dawn. So it is not fully bright, but we see some brightness. So that stage is called Nama Bhasha. So where we are able to feel Krishna while we chant. Here we are happy while chanting also. You can feel the happiness and you can have a little bit of the glimpse of Krishna while chanting. And then the highest stage of the chanting is called Shuddha Nam. Shuddha Nama means pure chanting. So when you're doing the Shuddha Nam, like whatever the benefits of chanting we said, all the karmic reactions get over, Krishna dances in our tongue becomes a rasastali, and you will be able to see Krishna face to face when you're chanting the Shuddhanam. And people who are devotees who are chanting Shuddhanam, they will not say, my 16 rounds are over and keep aside the Japamala. They will feel like chanting more and more. They will feel like chanting 24 hours a day. Not that, my prescribed round is over and I will keep my chanting mala aside. Now I have some extra time. Maybe I will watch some TV or maybe I will call my friend and speak. Maybe I will do something else like that. Your mind doesn't go in such material activities and your mind is always engaged in the thinking about Krishna, his forms, his qualities, like Haridas Thakura. He was chanting the holy names almost throughout the day. 22 hours a day, he was chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And he was also so tolerant, Haridas Thakura. So the Nawab who was there, he was beaten up in 22 marketplaces because Haridas Thakur was a Muhammadan. He was not even Hindu. And the Muslim king who was there, he did not like him chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So he employed some people to beat him in 22 marketplaces. And Haridas Thakura tolerated all those beatings because his mind was completely absorbed in chanting the names of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Like how we saw in the Bhagavad Mahapuran, Prahlad was tolerant of everything. So the same thing we could see even in Haridas Thakura just some 500 years ago. Okay, so these are the three stages of chanting. Would anybody like to tell the names of the three stages of chanting?
I can go, ma'am.
Yes,
Mataji.
yes, Mataji. Yeah.
Nama Aparada. This is a
Okay.
chant which falls under, we have some
Offensives.
offenses as mentioned in this list. The second stage is the Nama Bhasha. Here the offenses are nullified, and this type of chanting leads to liberation.
Mhm.
And the third stage, that is the purest form of chanting, is called the Shuddha Nama,
Yeah.
which
And yeah, where you chant with lot of purity. And when you reach Nama Bhasha stage and you continue to chant, one reaches the Shuddha Nam easily. And even if you are at the Nam Aparat stage, even if you are not developing the taste for chanting or anything, but continuously chanting and having the faith in the scriptures, if we continuously do, then over a period of time, we will see that our taste for chanting increases. So, main thing is remain fixed. And even for us to understand the Shastras like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and everything, this knowledge is very subtle. Sometimes we hear in the class, and after 2, 3 days, we are not able to remember much because it's very difficult for us to hold the information. But when you are chanting the holy name, act as a cup to retain the knowledge. So that's why before uh, we learn Bhagavad Gita, it is important that we start chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and one becomes a devotee of the Lord because Krishna says, Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan yasyasmi tatvata. Only my devotees can understand. If you're not a devotee, it's a very, very difficult to understand Krishna. And in Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma says, Vedeshu durlabhama durlabhama atma bhakto. It is very, very difficult to understand me through Vedas, whereas my Atma Bhakta, my devotee, can easily understand me. So, Krishna and through the devotees of Krishna, in many places, we understand that to obtain Krishna, the main thing is to become his devotee. And when you become a devotee of Krishna and when you are learning Bhagavad Gita, that knowledge retains and that knowledge enters us, and that will give us the actual purpose of our life by understanding the Gita or any other scriptures for that matter. Okay, Matajis, Hare Krishna. Any questions you have on this topic today, Matajis? Anybody ask questions? So, was this class useful to all of you?
Yeah, Haresh Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
I have a very practical question.
Okay.
So maybe that will help me also and those who are in the call.
Okay.
I always think for me, I do chanting, but I don't do this 16 rounds. I
Mhm.
never could do it. Maybe once or twice I might have done, but
Mhm.
the initial rounds will go fine. But then I always find it as kind of I'm losing focus or kind of okay, more rounds to do. I'll start counting the number of rounds I did. So I know that you're also definitely a very busy mom. So how are you managing your family and then doing all the 16 rounds?
Yes, Mataji. The main thing is, Mataji, wake up early in the morning. Are you able to do that?
Not always.
Yeah. So the main key is waking up early in the morning. So what I do is, by Krishna's mercy and by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and my Guru Maharaj, I manage to wake up every day by 4, maximum by 4:10, 4:15 in the morning. So that gives me an extra time. So I try to complete at least, it depends if it is a holiday like Saturday or Sunday, I try to complete my 16 rounds before the family becomes active. Because when the family becomes active, it becomes very difficult. There's a lot of chores, lot of thing, and some people comes, goes, so it becomes difficult. So what I do on the holidays is try to complete all the 16 rounds. Suppose I start around 5 o'clock or something like that. So till 7 o'clock, try to complete all the rounds. But not necessarily that one has to do all the 16 rounds at one go. It is not possible for me on the other days also, because my children leave at 7 o'clock in the morning and I have to have the breakfast and dabbas and everything ready. So I try to do at least 4 or 6 rounds in the morning. And doing Mangal Aarti, during the Guru Ashtakam and taking the blessings of the Guru and everything, and doing Tulsi Aarti and all those things also gives us additional strength for chanting. Mangal Aarti can be performed in a very simple way, not in an elaborate way, just with agarbatti, one flower and one lamp. That's all. Just make it very simple. Just you can say the Guru Ashtakam and Pranam Mantra and Namaste Narsimhaya. So within 10 to 15 minutes, it is better if we can allot that time to do the Mangal Aarti, and then you do the chanting, because we are invoking the blessings of the Gurus, blessings of Krishna, which gives us a strength to do the chanting of the holy name. So as I said, Mataji, what you can do is try to write the Mahamantra and read it. Like there are some stickers also, Hare Krishna Mahamantra sticker. So even now, as I'm talking here, this is my son's table, his study table. I don't know how much he chants or anything. So for him, I kept one sticker of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and he has a pen stand of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So at least he'll be keep watching that. So sometimes, I would also, when my mind is quite wavering, I try to read through that. That helps. Read the mantra, because when you're reading, your focus is going in reading also. So you can do. Another thing is read some Prabhupada's books or listen to some Prabhupada's lectures for 10-15 minutes. And that also gives us additional strength for chanting. And another thing is make association with a group of devotees, inspire each other, associate with each other. For me, it happened that's the way. When I first started the class here, when I started, I was hardly chanting 1 or 2 rounds, or sometimes I wasn't chanting also. But then the other devotees who were taking class along with me, they were all already chanting 16 rounds. And I found it, how is it even possible? At that time, my daughter was also very small and moving back to India, getting used to. And I was also giving some evening classes, some tuitions and everything. So my time was little limited. But then having the association, every time when I attend the class, Mataji used to ask, how is your chanting going? How are you all doing? Then I used to feel, why am I not able to chant and others are chanting? So that association of the devotees who are chanting 16 rounds, so with them, I got inspired. And first, I started chanting 16 rounds on Ekadashi day. On all the Ekadashi day, I was chanting 16 rounds, although I was not able to chant 16 rounds on the other days. And then once, when the Kartik month came, I took a note that I will do the 16 rounds. And then once I started 16 rounds, the 16 rounds was going on and on. It didn't really stop. But it did stop for some time. Again, during the COVID time, it was little challenging for 3-4 months. And when Chaturmas came, I went back to my 16 rounds, and by Krishna's mercy, I'm continuing to do my 16 rounds. So best way is we have to inspire each other. We have to be in the association, read Prabhupada's book, hear to his classes, and try to wake up early, Mataji, at least 30 minutes early. Even doing 4 rounds of chanting in the morning gives us lot of strength for us to face the world. It may be a little difficult in the initial stages because our body may not permit, but over a period of time, you will feel, if you're not chanting, you will feel bad. If you're chanting, you feel good. If you don't chant, you feel bad, because chanting becomes a part of your life. Yeah. Any other questions anyone has on chanting or anything about the class? Anybody else is facing struggles with chanting?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah.
Mataji, I just want to share my experience. Like this question was there, like how do you
Yeah.
manage the time? But I
Yeah.
am sharing my experience. when you
Mhm.
love someone, you don't have to manage the time. It
That's right.
automatically you give the time. It is from my experience. I am saying from last 1.5 years, I am waking at 3:34. It's my
Mhm.
biological clock, which
Mhm.
automatically wakes me up. And I have decided that morning 2 hours I'm going to give it to Krishna.
Mm, mm, mm,
And
mm.
I don't get tired and all. I
That's
don't
right.
go for afternoon sleep. Nothing. I don't
Mhm.
feel tired because
Yeah,
I know that I have to. I love Krishna, and
yeah.
Krishna doesn't make me tired. And it
Mm, mm.
happens. You just have to. You have to love, and when you love someone, you automatically gets the time.
Yeah. So that's also other way you get to wake up early. Waking up early is the key, Mataji, whatever it is. Even according for me, before coming into Krishna consciousness, I was a late riser. I cannot wake up early. Even if it was a weekend, I used to wake up at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, like that in the morning. But coming up to Krishna consciousness, as Seema Mataji also says, when you're developing the love for Godhead, when you know that it is our duty to, to allocate this time to Krishna, and early morning hours are very conducive for spiritual practices. So that's the only thing, Mataji. It may be little difficult, but anything which we do at least for 21 days or 1 month, it becomes a habit and we don't get tired. That's true what Seema Mataji says. Even I don't get to nap in the afternoon because schools gets over soon at Mumbai. 2 o'clock the children come, so we don't get time to nap or anything. And automatically you sleep only around 10:30 and you wake up. Yeah, you will
Yes,
get spiritual strength. Krishna helps.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So
Krishna
I mean,
helps.
Krishna
Yes,
helps.
yeah.
Here we should
So
be mainly depend on the mercy of Guru and Krishna than our own ability.
yes, right, right.
Our thing is only to desire, and he is the one who will fulfill. And Krishna is so merciful, even if we keep one step towards him, he will keep 10 steps towards us. Yeah.
and also I heard it multiple times from devotees and also from other lectures that
Mhm.
the key to wake up early is to go to bed early.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
So
is true, Mataji. You can go to bed early, but there are some times where we may not be able to sleep also. For example, Janmashtami day, we do 12 o'clock Mahaarti.
yeah.
And then by the time you wind up, you take some prashadam, everything, and sleep 1:30 it becomes. Next day again we wake up because it's
Yeah.
Prabhupada's appearance day.
Yeah. So that
So,
Mataji, that happens maybe like once in a year or
yeah, yeah.
couple of
Yeah.
times it happens. But
Mm-mm.
on a regular basis, I try to
Mm-hmm.
go to bed early, but that normally doesn't happen
You read
always.
some books, Mataji. Read Krishna book before going to bed.
Yeah.
That will give you that will calm down your mind and will give you a good sleep. Try to go and read. Right now,
Mhm.
your daughter is also almost 9 years, so you
Yeah.
both can read together.
So I always
Yeah,
think, in India, normally we have the support system is very good. So here
yeah,
we
yeah.
have to do all by ourselves.
Yes,
So
Mataji.
by the
And
time the
another
day,
thing is because you're in US and see in India, whatever it is, the culture of is there, the spiritual culture is there. Rama Krishna is the household name. It's more easy to do devotional practice in India. I agree with you than in US because when you go out, the people and their beliefs, everything is totally different. So you need to internalize more by yourself.
yeah. So I'll try to improve, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you will have little more additional challenges than us, but it is possible, Mataji. Try at least waking up 30 minutes before and
It's
do
not
it. Because if
difficult.
you wake up early, you may become tired and you may sleep early also. Yes, Mataji? Seema Mataji, you have anything to add?
No, I was saying that it's not difficult.
Yeah. It is possible, Mataji.
Possible,
Very,
yes.
very much possible. And as she said, Mataji said, biological clock sets it. Now, alarm just comes for the namesake at 4 o'clock. But most of the time, I'm awake before 4, like 3:40, 3:45 itself, I'm awake. Alarm is just like a
I don't,
additional support.
Mataji, I don't even set the alarm.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. But yeah, just one alarm, it's there for a long time and it goes. But as I said, the alarm doesn't ring. So generally, you wake up because the biological clock definitely sets in for us. Yeah. Waking up early is the biggest key, Mataji, because during the day, so many things will happen. So when you lose that morning hours, when you're trying to chant 16 rounds, it becomes little complicated, and because we have lot of disturbances around. As I said, try to do at least 4 rounds before chanting. Yeah. And this acts like an inoculation, like a vaccine. When you're chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it acts as a vaccine against all the things that will happen in our day. Like, things may not happen the way we wanted in our day. Many things can go out of the way, but we develop tolerance and we develop many things by doing the chanting in the early morning hours. Yes, Mataji. Any other questions on chanting? So I hope all of you are chanting here, right? Namrata Mataji is chanting. I know. Sneha Mataji, how many rounds you are able to chant?
Mataji, not more.
Okay,
Two
does it matter?
max. Not one I'm trying, but not more. Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. Trust, slowly try to increase your rounds. If you're chanting one, try to at least do 2 rounds.
Yes,
Okay,
Mataji.
Mataji. Yeah, because our goal should be to come to 16 rounds of chanting. So
Correct.
slowly we should come there. Rohini Mataji,
Yes.
your chantings, how many rounds, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I am chanting minimum 1 and maximum 3 on holidays.
Okay, Mataji. So, and Sureka, Mataji, how many rounds you're chanting? Okay. Garima, Mataji? Yes, Mataji. Uma Mataji, you're chanting?
Yeah, one round.
30.
Okay, one round.
30.
But
I'm not remembering.
yeah,
So I'm saying
slowly.
3 or 4. Yeah, I'm increasing it consciously.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, I'll try to increase my rounds.
Yes, Mataji. Yes. Yes, Garima. You're chanting how many rounds, Garima?
I am doing 15,
Very good. Very nice.
16
Very
Mataji,
nice.
16.
Very good. Very good.
Hello?
And yes, I could hear you're doing 16 rounds. That's very nice. Keep it up. Leena Mataji, I'm sure you're also doing some 5 or 8 rounds, no, Mataji?
No, I'm doing 8 rounds. I try to increase it, Mataji. Sometimes it goes to up to 10 or 12.
Okay. Yeah. So this is our goal. We are all started the process, which is very nice. Even if you're chanting one round also, that is good, but at least we have taken up the process. So let us try to increase it consistently. Don't go from 1 to 16. Then, the mind doesn't allow us to do so much. Make an incremental goal. That is better. Like it happened to me. For me, from 1, I made it to 2. From 2, it became 4. From 4, it became 8. And after 8, it became 16. So that would be the good ratio. 1, double it, 1, 2. And another easiest way is every Ekadashi day, try to increase by 1 round. It can be also another way we can increase the rounds. Ekadashi days are very powerful, so we can increase. So minimum of 16 rounds is recommended for us to do the chanting. So let us all try to achieve that goal. And again, there is no limit. 16 rounds is the minimum. So one can chant all through the day. And we can chant any place, anywhere, under all situations. Even we become old, we may not be able to go to temple. Our eyes may not be good enough to read the books also. But chanting we can do all the time under all the conditions. Okay, Mataji. I hope this class on chanting was useful to all of you. You could understand why we should chant and what are the significance of chanting.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
Fine. So let us all try to increase our chanting rounds. I may have few more steps that I want to speak, but mainly on maybe in the next class before we go, I will talk about some of the tips on how to increase our chanting, how to increase our focus. Now I think already it's 30 minutes past our regular time. Okay. So let us all let's be dependent on the mercy of Krishna and Prabhupada. That's the best way to do, rather than thinking on our ability. Yes, Mataji?
Mataji, this class has been recorded.
Yeah, it is in recording, Mataji. Yes.
Yeah, because my in-laws came to see me, so I had to go offline for half an hour. I was not
Okay,
there.
it is recorded, Mataji. I will share it. I will try to share it by today, or I'm traveling tomorrow for a week's time. I'm back only on Friday. So this Wednesday class this week may not happen. I
Okay.
will do from the next week, but I will try to transfer this because I'm recording in the computer. I
Okay.
didn't go to the YouTube live. So I feel this computer recording is more comfortable than the YouTube live. So I
Okay.
will try to upload it in the YouTube and send it across.
Yeah. Okay, Mataji.
Thank you so much for each and every one of you for attending the class. Let's pray for the mercy of Guru and Krishna and develop the highest goal of our life is to develop the love of Krishna, and the medium for us is chanting. So no matter whatever service we do, chanting 16 rounds is a must. There is no compromise in chanting. Everybody should chant 16 rounds because this gives us the internal strength for us. Whereas other services helps us to increase our chanting round. Whereas chanting is very, very important for all of us. Okay, Mataji? Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpata rupyascha kripa sindhupa evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai. Sorry, we couldn't do the Narsimha Pranam mantra. I think it's already getting late. So we can, whomsoever want to do, can do it by your own after finishing the class. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna,
you very much.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.